Good morning, Bravehearts, and good morning, Garfield, New Jersey. Welcome back to Marv in the Morning, episode 48. 48, baby. Close to 50. I told you we're going to do something special on 50. I think 50 is going to land on a Monday. Considering, I think I missed yesterday. So I think 50 landing on a Monday actually works a lot better anyway. But it's not about 50. It's about 48 today, baby. And today, we're discussing my love of anime. Anime. Eat the cake. Eat the cake. So we're here. A couple announcements. The usual jazz. Subscribe. Thumbs up. Notification bell. And tell me something good in the chat today. Some positive energy. Throw some positive energy my way. You know, it's a good day. Hey, Scarlett in the house. Yes, it's important that we share positive energy with each other and not keep it stored for ourselves. Reciprocate and spread it. Spread the positive energy. That's a fact. Hey, listen, we all need it. We all can share it. We all can have it. You're not giving away. You're not gonna run out of it. It's reciprocated. It's a beautiful thing. Scarlett, you're freaking awesome. I love having you here every morning. Thank you so much for watching this show. You could be anywhere in the world, and I appreciate you. Pound on my chest. So yes, spread the positive energy, Bravehearts. That's what we're about today. Spreading the positive energy. Without a doubt. Actually, I have a coaster that I rarely use. My Wolfpack bro, Will, gave me this coaster. He made this coaster. I think he made it. I never really asked him. He just gave it to me. But this is an exchange of positive energy, too. I got this. It's going to make me think of Will. Hey, it's my guy right there. But yes, we're back up in this jazz. The love of anime. A couple announcements. Tekken Tuesday, baby. I think I'm going to create another show called Tekken Tuesday, where me and the bros, the Wolfpack bros, play video games, record it. Maybe I'm going to put it on the YouTube channel, put it on Bravery Studios YouTube channel. Maybe. If it doesn't get too crazy. But I've enjoyed our Tuesday nights of gaming together. We everyone's in the studio on Tuesday night, so it just kind of happened organically, and it's a beautiful thing. I love hanging with the bros. Love having everybody here. Without a doubt, maybe I should turn it into a show. Debating. Gonna see if I can make it happen or not. It is more work on my part. It's more editing for me, so we'll see if we can make that happen. Nice thumbnail, Lowell. You can thank Big Daddy Alucard for the thumbnail. And, oh, man, Takzuki Man Freddy Gobgovich is in the Bravery chat. And he's over here. Spread some positive energy, Takzuki. All the way from Canada. It's the love of anime today, baby. We're talking about anime. You're going to love this episode, Takzuki. Everybody in the chat, let me know your favorite anime as well. Let me know. Make it a big list. It could be a big list. Don't matter to me. Maybe you'll put me on to some anime I've never seen before. I am very picky, but who knows? If you make it sound cool enough, I might just hit a click and check it out. So we'll see. Also tonight, 7 p.m., Bravery Studios, YouTube, The Goddessy. I got to interview a goddess, guys. I got to interview a goddess all the way from Memphis, land of the damned, or origins, being the land of the damned in Egypt. Here in the U.S. of A., it's the land of the Goddessy. And a great interview. Watching it back was a delight. We recorded it about a month ago, right? So whenever I record something and look back on it a month later, it's always like I forgot everything. But beautiful soul, beautiful spirit, neo-soul artist, amazing voice, amazing talent. I dug her. It was great. It was a great time. So check that out tonight. Check out the vibes, the energy in that room, just the flowing of auras and all that jazz, right? Check that out, right? Do it. It's gonna be a fun watch. So give it a shot. Check it out. Tell me what you think about it. That's the only thing with coasters is sometimes you pick up the cup and the coaster comes with it. The coaster comes with it. Okay. The other thing that I've been doing recently this month is I've had the Dipset Christmas album on repeat in the studio, and all the everybody that walks in here is like, wait, Dipset made a Christmas album? Yo, if you guys have not checked it out and you're a hip hop head, 2000s hip hop head, go check out the Dipset Christmas album. It's hilarious. It's a good time. If you're tired of the usual Mariah Carey freaking "It's Cold Outside," or you're tired of all the usual songs on Christmas, please check out the Dipset Christmas album. It probably will change your life. It probably won't, but it's a good listen. I'm gonna have it here in the studio all month on repeat. It has a remix to "Ballin'" on it too, which is crazy. It's not a Christmas song at all, but it's on there. And shout out to Noelle, good friend of mine. She said, "Hey, you gotta get a Dipset Christmas tree now." So we're gonna get a Dipset Christmas tree, a Diplomat's Christmas tree here in the studio. It's gonna have the Dipset eagle on the top. It's gonna have everybody's faces. This is gonna be all red, white, and blue. Oh man, this is like the sweetest idea. I wish I had thought of it myself, but I didn't. But thank you, Noah, for giving me this idea. Dipset Christmas tree coming soon. Me and Steve are going Christmas tree shopping on Friday. I know it's a little late. It's already like the 9th on Friday, but hey, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. We didn't have this idea till now, but I cannot wait. I'm gonna print out all the members' faces on it. It's gonna be awesome. So please check it out. Please listen to the Dipset Christmas album. Shout out to the chat right now. I would say One Piece, but the anime is not as good as the manga. Also, my favorite anime is probably Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. We're going to talk about both of those soon. Scarlett said, for oldies, I really like Trigun, Wolf's Rain, Big O, Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop. Those are a lot of anime that I'm going to speak about today. Good morning, my handsome friend. Good morning, my beautiful friend. Shout out to Tamika. Miss you so much. Hope to see you soon. Thank you for hanging out with me each morning. You rock, Tamika. And listen, I'm spreading positive energy all around. So reciprocate, spread the good vibes, be a brave heart, and spread some good vibes. I have to listen to that now because that sounds hilarious. Yo, the Dipset Christmas album is funny, bro. Like these guys are hustling for Christmas presents and putting putting ornaments on the tree. Yo, the lyrics. Yo, they're stressing out over Christmas. They're like, oh, I gotta get all my Christmas presents. I gotta get crazy on this Christmas. Yo, listen, Dipset Christmas. Look it up. Shout out to the Diplomats. Shout out to Jim Jones. I don't know how that album is not trending every Christmas. That album is crazy. I'm gonna make it popular again. I've never finished Big O. I really should. That show was awesome. We're gonna talk about it. We are gonna discuss it. We're gonna get into the anime that have defined me, what I grew up watching. Of course, everything goes back to childhood. And listen, Marv had a dope childhood. I ain't gonna say nothing less. As far as childhood goes, it could have been a lot worse. But at least I had anime. I had music. I had TV, I had great movies, and I had fun adventures. And that's the thing, man. As much as I love speaking about TV and video games and all that stuff that keeps you in the house, the stuff that happened on the adventures on the outside world were just as amazing. Maybe one day we'll discuss things like that. But today it's anime. But if I was to discuss the first anime that I ever watched, and it's going to be the same origin story for a lot of anime watchers in the United States, because this is the one that exploded. But you know what, even rolling it back a little further back, let's go back even before my story comes into parallels with anime, right? Because back in the day, back in the 80s and 70s, they had anime, but they didn't know it was anime. They had cartoons that would come from Japan and be redubbed, renamed, re-edited for an American audience. And there was the term anime did not exist yet. At least I don't think so. Not in the United States, or it wasn't popularly used or commonly used, right? So you had things like Speed Racer. That was on air. I think it was the 70s or 80s. I think Speed Racer was on the air. Astro Boy was out there in the wild in the United States, and it was. I don't think people knew that it was from Japan. What anime even just means, for anyone who's watching doesn't know what anime means. Anime is just cartoons from Japan. That's all it really is. It's animation from Japan. And the difference, I guess, they called it Japanimation, Takzuki says. Yeah, this is Thundercats. Thundercats actually wasn't anime. It actually was animated in Japan. Thundercats. I think even Transformers. Takzuki might correct me. I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong here. I think Transformers is an anime. It's a Japanimation. I think it was animated in Japan. I might be wrong. Double check my facts there. Transformers, Thundercats was definitely one of them. Also, I see you got Sailor Moon front on the back. Yeah, we had to have the Sailor Moon back there. Sailor Moon played a big part in anime becoming popular in America, especially for girls. What Dragon Ball Z was for boys, Sailor Moon was for girls, for sure. But I do believe that Transformers was anime as well. May be able to correct me on there. And there's a handful of other smaller ones. I think Gotchaman or Gotchaman might have been around in the 80s in America. I don't know for sure. This is all before my time. But there was no real explosion yet. This was like you would watch American cartoons alongside Japanese cartoons, and you wouldn't know the difference. You wouldn't know that this came from another country. I think you're right. I'll Google it then and correct you later. Okay, you do that, Tatsuki. But yeah, I think the explosion happened when Dragon Ball Z came to America, and not the first time it came to America. The first time it came to America, I remember watching it on Channel 11, which is the WB, Warner Brothers TV channel. It was on Sunday mornings, like really early, either Saturday or Sunday mornings. I forget which one, but it was on before anything else. Like you had to be awake Mondo early to catch Dragon Ball Z that early in the morning. You had to be up early. And I was always the first one up early in my house. I woke up before everybody and sat in front of the TV every weekend. That was how I started my weekend mornings. And then I went outside after cartoons were done, right? So Dragon Ball Z was on back then. And I remember watching it and not thinking anything special of it. It was just something that was on TV, so I caught it. And there was no... you couldn't follow the story yet because I think the episodes were even out of order, or you would miss an episode if you woke up late one Saturday. You had to really watch every episode to catch the whole story. Even though the story dragged, so you could miss a few and still be kind of in the loop of what's going on. But for sure, there was no Frieza yet. There was no Super Saiyans. There were none of the things that would come to define Dragon Ball Z yet. You just had the characters. We didn't have the origin story because we didn't get Dragon Ball. For people that don't know, Dragon Ball is the prequel to Dragon Ball Z, which came out first with Goku as a kid. I think eight to about 18 years old, because it has time skips in it. So I think that's Goku from 8 to 18, or maybe 10 to 18. I might, once again, I might not have all the time exactly right, but that was Dragon Ball, and it was more adventurous of a show, more comedy. I actually really love Dragon Ball a lot too, but Dragon Ball Z in America, Channel 11, Sunday mornings. Caught it, thought it was cool, but never really thought anything highly of it. I know the intro showed scenes that were not in the show, so that always had me curious about. They showed extra characters that weren't there yet, like they showed Trunks and all that stuff. But when Dragon Ball Z came to Toonami, now Toonami was a collection of action cartoons that would play after school. Like it was a block, like 4 shows that would play probably from 4 to 6, or maybe even 3. Maybe not exactly 3, because we got to school exactly at 3, and I caught all of it. So it must have been from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and it was a group of 4 shows together. That was kind of hosted by this little tiny robot guy named Tom, a CGI character or whatnot, right? It's kind of like how if you think of the Mistress of the Night, what was her name? I don't know how I forgot her name. How she hosted horror movies, and she would be kind of like I guess she would walk you through why these things are great, and kind of introduce you to the culture of horror movies or whatnot. I'm sad that I forgot her name now. I actually love that woman. But Tom was our guide into the world of action cartoons. It wasn't even just anime at first. They would have Thundercats. They would have, I believe, He-Man, a couple other things on there. But once they got Sailor Moon, and I think only a little bit later they got Dragon Ball Z, I think that Toonami block became all about anime. Just because the explosion of like popularity of those 2 shows were humongous and unavoidable at the time. I remember going to school and hearing the popular kids talk about Dragon Ball Z, which is crazy. I was like, no way. Like, this guy watches Dragon Ball Z. This guy's like a freaking jock over here. And he's watching what I'm watching. I'm a nerd and he's a jock and we're watching the same show. This is bonkers to me. I still remember being in the locker room changing for gym and hearing them talk about anime. And I'm like, this is nuts. And when Goku turned Super Saiyan, forget about it. That moment in history was like crazy. The second impact, I think, was when Trunks showed up and chopped Frieza in half like he was baby food. And yo, that was just like, what's going on? This is incredible. Like the promos they ran up to Frieza's return when he came back as Robo Frieza or Zombie Frieza. I don't even know what he really was, a robot or a zombie, but the Elvira was her name. Scarlett, thank you for helping me out there. What Tom was to Toonami, Elvira was to that horror movie nights on, I think, Sci-Fi. But that explosion was huge. I just gushing about it in school the next day. Like, yo, did you see Dragon Ball Z last night? Did you see what happened? It was incredible. Holy jazz. And realistically, if you go back and watch it now, there's a lot of talking and not as much fighting as we remember. But certainly, that's it. That's when anime took over. Like, after that, that's all we wanted to watch on TV. Power Rangers is already off the air. All the other cool shows like Batman, Spider-Man. I think Justice League was still around, but for the most part, Cartoon Network was where it's at after school, watching some Dragon Ball Z, watching what came later, which I'm going to discuss now. Some of the highlights of my childhood and shows that I remember the most, for sure. But let's look at the chat real quick. Thundercats and Gundam was a couple of my first anime. Later on came Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z for me. My dad remembered watching Dragon Ball when he was younger, and I was like, word? This show was old. Dragon Ball Z actually was around in the 80s in Japan and on Spanish TV. So, like, if you were around Telemundo on, like, Sundays, they were showing Dragon Ball Z in Spanish, uncut, too. There was blood and violence and crazy stuff going on there, too. I feel like a lot of the kids in the 90s watching Dragon Ball Z was a life-changing experience. There was nothing like it. It was violent. People died. You didn't see that in animation back then. Bingo. I think the main reason kids watch Dragon Ball Z is because people were getting punched in the face. If I'm being very blunt with you. They're yelling and the powering up, like, that did hype you up as a kid. Like, he's going over 9,000 over here. Yo, yes. I wish I had that experience. When I first got into anime, really into anime, I hid it from everyone because I was afraid of being bullied for what I liked. Nani? I was watching Dragon Ball Z in Channel 11, 7 a.m. Same here. You just missed it, Jeps. I was just talking about Dragon Ball Z on Channel 11 before it even got popular. And it also was on Telemundo too, uncut in Spanish. So, where was I? So, yeah, something that Tagzuki just brought up about being bullied. Yo, forget about it. Dragon Ball Z was super popular, but if you were watching anything else, if you were in school with spiky hair and Django jeans, and you were acting all anime-ish and weird, you were getting bullied back then. It isn't how it is now, where almost everybody has watched anime and whatnot. But, yo, anime was not something you bragged about being a fan of in school. In high school, the kids that wore the Naruto bandanas were being bullied so much. I was like, man, yo, I'm never wearing that Naruto bandana, bro. But yo, shout out to them for still rocking it and still showing their love for what they were into, man, not being ashamed of it. Shout out to Commissioner Coven. What up, Marv? Oh, you talking about anime? We're talking anime today, baby. We're talking anime today. And yeah, so the kids that wear those Naruto headbands, I salute thee. If you were wearing a Naruto headband in high school in Kennedy and Patterson, New Jersey, I feel for you and I salute thee for your bravery. I salute thee. Because I grew up in the era before liking anime was the hip thing and trendy thing to do, so I just hit it. Yeah, anime wasn't like hip back then. Oh, Scarlett said I had the Leaf Village fingerless gloves, bro. Yeah, and Naruto's shout out to Naruto for selling a lot of merch, for sure. The Commissioner watched some anime. What's your favorite anime, Commissioner? Yo, Jeps, what's your favorite anime? Let me know. Big Daddy Alucard's in the house. Oh, you stealing my art, fool? I had to Alucard for this episode. I had to. But yeah, let's get into the next couple anime that really define me. And I think what came next for me, for a love of anime, is definitely Cowboy Bebop. I want to tie it together with Outlaw Star because they are very similar shows, and I love Outlaw Star. Listen, it's a space western. It's pretty much about overcoming your fear and gaining bravery to follow your dreams. He had a dream of going into space, and it's still a really, really great show. I quote Outlaw Star like every day. But if I was to speak about what's had a more longevity and has had a more stronger following since it got to America, it's definitely Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop, I remember I was at my uncle's house. I remember sitting in front of the TV. It's like 12 p.m. at night. No, it's 12 a.m. 12 a.m. midnight. It's midnight. I'm sitting watching TV in the dark, and it's playing the midnight run of Toonami, the midnight run. This is where they showed more rated R anime, right? With cursing and everything. So I'm sitting there in a dark room, and like probably this close to the TV, like literally this close to the TV, and then the screen goes black after a commercial. It's black for like a whole second, and then it goes, and you see the graphics and the art and then the music, and you're like, what is this, bro? What is this? Cowboy Bebop. I think that the moment you watch that intro, you're in for something amazing. Still probably the most famous anime opening ever. Even if you haven't watched the show, you definitely have heard that intro. And the show is exactly what it sets out to be. It's still a space western, but it also is Cowboy Bebop. What it is it's kind of a postmodern space opera. It's, instead of it being an opera, which is why the title is called Cowboy Bebop instead of space opera, right? Because space opera is like Star Wars, any space epic where there's this long story and this epic tale of harrowing adventures in space. Cowboy Bebop was like, we're the opposite. Instead of being opera, which is a genre of music, we're going to be bebop, a genre of music, jazz. So instead of there being this long adventure that spans multiple worlds and princesses and all this epic, Star Warsian storytelling that happened a lot in cartoons after Star Wars, Cowboy Bebop was like, we're going to be the opposite. We're going to be, instead of opera, we're going to be bebop. And the music of bebop is, instead of it being orchestrated, it's kind of free flowing. It's kind of like going in every direction. Bebop is about a freestyle. It's not about somebody with a stick going right. It's not about that. Bebop is every direction. So Cowboy Bebop, like I said, being the opposite of a space opera, it has just these smaller tales where, like, the planet they're on doesn't matter. The characters they run into, the side characters, don't really matter that much either. It's just about being cool in space, baby. That's all Cowboy Bebop is about. That whole show, if you were to sum it up into just one sentence, it's about being cool in space. And I've said, man, 1,000 times, like, man, I just want to be cool in space, baby. That's all I really want out of life. That's all I really want. Yo, Marv, your favorite anime is Wednesday. I barely watched that show. Dragon Ball Z, Gundam Wing, Cowboy Bebop, just to name a few. Shout out to the episode of Cowboy Bebop where Spike opens the fridge and there's like a rotten meat monster in there. Bingo. Great episode. I remember the moldy meat. Everyone remembers that moldy meat. That's what Taco's talking about too. Bebop has one of my favorite aesthetics in all of anime. It's just so good. It's just so cool. Like, these characters are just so cool. Shout out to the voice. That's when I started to notice voice acting too. Like the voice actors in Bebop are like American voice actors. Well, I don't know. I think they're Canadian actually, but the English voice cast of Bebop, forget about it. Forget about it. Classics, every single one of them. I love every character on that show. Shout out to Ed. Ed is such a cute kid. Yo, shout out to Ed. And I could talk about Bebop forever, but I do have to speed run the next few just so that we can get to a nice conclusion here. G Gundam, giant robots. I watched Gundam Wing. I liked it, but it didn't do a lot for me. When G Gundam came on, all the quotes this man says, my love, my anger, and all of my sorrow. Oof. That voice actor too, he carried that show. That voice actor Domo. If you're into giant robots, if you're into fights, giant robots fighting, that's a show to watch. He took the war and politics out of it, just made it a straight shonen pretty much. And I don't know. There's just a lot about that show that just resonated a lot with me at that point in time. I think I was 15 years old watching that show, so I wasn't in high school. No, so I wasn't 15. I probably was in 7th or 8th grade. So I probably was like 12, preteen. That show, after school, forget about it. Love that show. I even have tattoos of it because I love it so much. They get confused for Kingdom Hearts tattoos, which infuriates me. But boy, oh boy, do I love me some G Gundam. And watch it. It's got a good mystery story to it too. Something that Takzuki brought up earlier, and I think Scarlett did as well. The Big O. The Big O. Listen, this is like Batman in Japan with a giant robot. The Big O is about a negotiator who has to solve situations through negotiations, and the situations never go as planned. And so when they don't go as planned, he's got to summon a big giant robot to come out the ground to, I guess, help with the situation through means of physicality. And it has a very, very sleek and cool factor. Like I said, he's very much Bruce Wayne in anime form. He's very classy, never uses a gun. His robot is his alter ego. That's his Batman, while Roger Smith is Bruce Wayne. It has a very noir, sepia tone color palette to it. You gotta love it. The music is so good. I used it on the Instagram promo today. So check out Big O if you're very much into mystery or like detective stuff. Even though he's not a detective, but he ends up having to be a detective most of the time. It's just got a really cool aesthetic. And the ending is mind twisting. It has a very, very open-ended ending that's kind of mind-bending and makes you think and kind of theorize, wait, what? It just goes from being this noir mystery show to being this psychedelic, trippy meta show. Like, watch it. We'll get to the end of Cowboy Bebop and come back to me and tell me your interpretation of that ending. Tell me what the tomatoes mean. Takzuki, you got to watch it, and then you got to come back and tell me what the tomatoes mean. For sure. Shout out to the train scene on Cowboy Bebop, Spike Spiegel versus Vincent. That train scene, I think that has the best anime representation of black characters ever. That scene where they do like an homage to blaxploitation films. Wow, where they're not played for comedy. These are like truly action stars or action characters. Beautiful that Japan nailed that. Beautiful. Instead of making every black character's hair blonde or having them have like natural hair, they made them authentic. Like they nailed that in 1998, which is, let me tell you, that's not something that was common. There was a lot of characters in anime, which I guess is okay, not so bad now because blonde hair, it has become popular, like, you know, but it's become popular to dye your hair blonde. But back then, every character that was like black had blonde hair for some reason, or had natural hair, or all hair is natural. What am I even saying right now? It just had like weird, non-traditional features of a black person on it. But for sure, shout out to Cowboy Bebop for being progressive, even with Ed's gender fluid personality or character. totally ahead of his time. Totally ahead of his time. Show them your Kingdom Hearts tattoo. One thing about Cowboy Bebop that's really sick is that all the fights are animated to the music. Yeah, yeah. Every episode is named after music too. Roger is awesome. I cannot take the name Roger Smith seriously because that's also the name of the alien from. You just ruined Big O for me, bro. I didn't even know that. Samurai Champloo next. Another show by the creator of Cowboy Bebop. Samurai Champloo is what rock and roll was for Cowboy Bebop, hip hop was for Samurai Champloo. It's a samurai show where it's kind of very much influenced by hip hop culture. They have a rap song opening. The fights are usually played to like lo-fi hip hop. If you're a fan of lo-fi hip hop, go check out Samurai Champloo. I think Samurai Champloo kind of invented lo-fi. I remember when I was in college, I just used to play the soundtrack to Samurai Champloo whenever I did homework. Whenever I was writing a paper, whenever I was doing anything on a computer typing, I had to put on the Samurai Champloo soundtrack. Another show voiced by, there's a lot of Steve Blum characters on this list, right? Steve Blum, but shout out to Samurai Champloo. I almost cannot say the title sometimes. I have to look at it before I even say it because it's such a weird name. Champloo, I guess, just being a weird word. But check that out too. It's still beautiful. It's a gorgeous show. It still looks very modern. It's in the crux of in between today's anime and 90s anime. It was right there in the middle. So it has widescreen, it has HD, but it's not like super modern where like the animation style got really minimalist, let's just say. Yeah, Steve Blum is a legend, bro. Super legend. Samurai Champloo, legendary show. Watch it. Beautiful. The samurai that smells of sunflowers. We're looking for the samurai that smells of sunflowers. Love it. The next show I'm going to say is the one I would recommend for anybody who's getting into anime for the first time. If you've never seen anime before and need a gentle introduction to it rather than going to like something intense with 1,000 episodes like One Piece or something super niche like Gundam, I would say get into Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, both are great shows. Brotherhood wins for me just because the scale and the stakes are so much higher in that show. But even with the original, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with the original either. And it's a tale of brotherhood. It's a tale of two brothers adventuring and trying to, I guess, make amends, trying to repent or make atonement. Make atonement, is that how you would say that sentence? I guess it's about atonement. They made a mistake. They did something wrong. They tried to do the undoable, and they paid the price with their bodies. And then it's deep stuff. It's deep stuff. It's very, very much philosophical. It's a philosopher's show for sure. The laws of equivalent exchange. For everything that you give, you have to take. For everything you want to create, you must destroy. A lot of deep things there. You watching Inuyasha? I did watch Inuyasha, and I think it's the funniest show ever. Shout out to Cat Ears and girls coming from the modern day, getting warped back in past and keeping their schoolgirl clothes on. Yeah, Brotherhood is up there. Brotherhood is one of my favorite shows too, Taco. I think I get goosebumps watching like any part of that show, any arc. Like seriously, I think it's the best paced anime. Like some anime, they'll be fighting the same villain for like 10 episodes. Thank God that Full Metal Alchemist was like they're fighting a guy. It's gonna last only that episode. That fight is gonna be that episode. So it's very digestible. It's very watchable. It has a lot of lovable characters. Shout out to Major Armstrong. That's probably my favorite character. It's just a super buff dude that makes alchemy with his muscles. Love that character. Lieutenant Hughes. I can't even talk about it without giving away too much. I love that show so much. I love how it alternates between serious and silly when the mood calls for it. Yeah, it finds a fine line. It walks a nice line of serious and humor. and depth too, because maybe some animes are too deep. Some anime they just are like Evangelion. I haven't watched it yet, but sometimes it gets so deep that it's almost pretentious. Like, oh, look at this 12-year-old fighting gods and monsters and aliens. Where like Fullmetal Alchemist, thank God, does not get it is a very philosophical show, but it never starts huffing its own. You know what I mean? It just walks such a fine line. This catchphrase has been has been passed down the Armstrong line for generations. Yes, I love Lieutenant Armstrong. Love that character. Love him, bro. Love him. Oh man. So yeah, Full Metal Alchemist is a must watch. If it's your first anime, if you want to watch a gentle introduction to it, I would say that Full Metal Alchemist is a great place to start. Either Full Metal Alchemist, or if you want something non-anime that is gonna get you into anime, then maybe the Avatar, The Last Airbender, which I don't know. It's a big debate. Like they're saying, well, if it's not from Japan, is it really anime? So what I would just say is that Avatar: The Last Airbender is a great show. It has a lot of anime influence, a lot of influence. It's paced like an anime. It's drawn like an anime. It's just made in America. So to make of it what you will, but those two shows are great introductions into anime, gentle introductions, where it doesn't get too into its own. It doesn't become super pretentious or just too much action or too much blood or too much fan service. Those are the two shows I recommend for anybody that wants to get into anime, for sure. For sure. And the last one I'm at on this list is the anime that I'm watching now, that I'm just now getting into, or maybe just a couple of years ago. I got into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is the most flamboyant, silly, epic. I could go with so many words to describe it, but it is a shonen. It is an action show. It is about combat and battling every episode. But I don't know. There's just a charm to it. There's just something over the top and charming about it. I think it's the funniest anime I've seen in years. I roll out of my chair laughing when I watch it. Like, and then the colors, the color palette, the dub, the thought of, hey, what are they gonna think of next with this next villain? Because every villain has to be crazier and crazier. And the fact it's a generational tale. It's about a family over the course of generations, where every arc or every part is a descendant of the last generation of JoJo's. So get into JoJo if you want something funny, a little more lighthearted, a little more crazy and kooky and flamboyant. JoJo's is the way to go with it. JoJo's is definitely the way to go with it. And that's where I'm going to leave this list, because I have a 10 o'clock podcast coming in 20 minutes. So I have to make this a quick one. And trust me, I can make this episode 5 hours if I wanted to. Because boy, do I love me some anime. JoJo isn't a third as crazy as Grappler Baki. I haven't watched Grappler Baki, but you guys, if you want to, in the comments, leave some anime for me to watch. I'll try my best. I am very picky with anime. Very picky. There's things that I just do not like at all. Like, I'm not into too much shonen. I'm not into like Bleach or Naruto or anything. I did like My Hero Academia. I did like that. I watched all of that. I did love One Punch Man, but that was a little too meta. That was a little too much commentary on just anime and superheroes. So I don't know if I liked it because it was making fun of things I like, or if I liked it because of what I like. I don't know. Can't believe you stole my art. I'm gonna put credit. I'm gonna put art by Alucard on the thumbnail, so Alucard can get his credit, because that was that made my day when I saw that. Look at this guy. I love gore anime. Yeah, I love it when it services the plot. I don't like it when it's just for fan service. Like, I think fan service hurts anime a lot. It's probably anime's biggest weakness, for sure. But when it services the plot well and it makes sense, and I like it, right? Like, it can't just be gory just to be gory, It's like only so much of it I can take. But when it serves the plot, when it makes sense with this show, like I like Vampire Hunter D, bloody as all hell, or Berserk. These are other shows that are really great. Or even manga, if you want to read them in manga form, it's probably even better. They're really great stuff, this bloody and gory, but it's also, the tone of the show. It just fits what's happening on the show pretty much. But like I said, I can go on forever and ever. And once I'm done and watch, I'm going to think of 30 other anime I could have named that I think people should know about. But there just isn't enough time in the day for sure. But look how 40 minutes fly by. I could do this all day. I'm Captain America when it comes to anime. Captain Anime. But thank you for watching. Like I said, if you're watching post live, leave a comment. Tell me some anime that you think I should check out. One last one. If you like Quentin Tarantino movies a lot, then definitely check out Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon, really great show. Starts off a little slow. That first episode can be a little better, but once you get to the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, wow, you are in for one hell of an anime there. Effing Lied is great. Maybe the next episode can be anime part 2. Maybe. I mean, these are the main shows that I would talk about if I would ever have an anime conversation. But hey, if you guys introduce me to new stuff and say, hey, Marv, you gotta check this out, buddy, and I watch it and I like it, we shall talk about it. But actually, what I could also do is make entire episodes about just one of these shows, because I could speak about G Gundam or Big O or Fullmetal Alchemist for about forever. Let's just say forever. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, Bravehearts, thanks for kicking it with me today. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, so I appreciate that. If you're new to the show, subscribe, like, thumbs up. If you love anime, thumbs up. Dude, yeah, just get thumbs up for anything. If you just think I'm a cool guy. But these are the shows that kind of define who I am when it comes to anime. Like, I say things in a very hammy, bombastic way, like the world and dreams and destiny, and that all comes from anime. Like, me repeating things like that to people on a daily basis, and people are looking at me like, this guy's so over the top in his speech. But it all comes from watching anime villains, probably. Probably Major Armstrong too. Let's have an anime night together. Food and anime and chill times. I'm down for it. Tomorrow, reviewing Wednesday. Should I review TV shows? You guys want me to review TV shows on here? I'll think about it. But I would have to rewatch that whole show, and I don't know if I even paid attention to most of it. And then for something like Wednesday, I probably would have to watch the original 90s, or not that, even the 7. There's one even from way back in the day. All the Anna's Family stuff, or just take the show as what it is, I guess. I don't know. That's a whole nother can of worms. Alucard is always causing stress to my life over here. Love you all though, Bravehearts, and I gotta hit that old dusty trail. I have a podcast recorded starting soon, so stay brave and keep on keeping on, Bravehearts. Peace.